is going to be weird for whenever it hits Spotify one day. So, hi everyone. Today we're going to be talking about, the day that we met, or how we met, actually. So that's going to be the topic for today's little podcast on the KC podcast. Or are we KC Audiophiles?
No, podcast. Hey guys.
Rena here.
Welcome back to episode 1, officially.
Yeah,
of this podcast.
This, like I said, this is going to be the story on how we met, and we're going to kind of discuss that. And I'm going to actually pass it on to Rena because she's going to.
Whoa. I said you were going to do the talking first.
Well, I did. Started the podcast.
What? No. It's a very long story.
Okay.
I always tell it.
There's a pretty big deep dive that we can get into, but it pretty much started, in our hometown, El Paso, Texas. Luckily, for whatever reason, I decided, I went from Riverside High School, moved to El Dorado, and that's where I started my first year. And apparently the orientation that I was attending along with Karina and her best friend, they were the ones who spotted me. I didn't know it at the time. I didn't really care about anybody And so,
How old are we? Like 14? I was probably like 13 when actually it wasn't freshman year, it was sophomore year, so I was probably like 14.
You might see me flipping through this book. It's called Me, You, Us. For those of you that don't know, Five Below sells this book currently. Not sure if it sells it. If they sell it anywhere else, if we see it on Amazon, we'll go ahead and share it in the link down below if you want to buy it. But there's a lot of pretty good topics on here that, we'd want to pass on from us to you guys. And it's not only for like our sake or your sake, but even for the sake of like any future generation or even our children. It'll be kind of cool. This is like a really good way to, I guess leave a little diary or just story behind everything. So that's very fun, and it's kind of why we want to do this type of thing too, like not without even realizing like this is going to be on YouTube forever and wherever else you hear us. But
going back to the story.
Yeah, so going back to the story on how we met, I might have to actually look at this because
he doesn't remember. The fact that yours is longer than mine.
I wrote down a pretty good amount on here.
I'm like, how is yours longer than mine?
And so I guess I'm going to actually, should I read it off of here? Well, basically, the way it happened is I said yes to...
That's not how we met, though.
Being her dance partner.
Well, yes, but we met before that.
I feel like that's the part I don't exactly remember entirely.
Well, I guess I can tell that part of the story. And
yeah,
you can
because
tell
I was being stalked, which is why I can't remember.
What? No, you were not being stalked. First of all, this started with... Well, obviously, like he said, we went to the same high school. And this was our sophomore year, which was what, in like 2014, I think? Yeah, as he said, me and my best friend spotted him because he was a new kid and everybody knew everybody at this point, especially because we all came from the same 9th grade school. It was separate from our main high school. So it was like, the surrounding middle schools and like few people that we didn't know, but we're friends with other friends, whatever. So once we moved into the main high school, obviously, if we spot a new face, we were like, oh, who's that? We've never seen them before. They were not at the 9th grade academy with us. So that's when we noticed him. And obviously, I thought he was cute. And my best friend's like, go talk to him. He's new. And I'm like, no. Obviously, when you're a little teenager, you're like shy and excuse the animals. They said they want to talk to you. But yeah, you obviously don't want to talk to anybody. you're very shy, very introverted. So I was very much like that when I was younger. So obviously I wasn't gonna go up to this new guy that I didn't know, that I'd never seen in my life. And that was also cute to begin with and good looking and whatnot or whatever. And he looked like he was cool too. So he looked like one of those like cool jerks. So I was like, no, I am not gonna go up there and get rejected. So yeah, time went on and we started school and whatever. And eventually, literally within, I guess, I don't know how long, only he can say, but very soon enough, he started hanging out in the group that my best friend was hanging out with because she invited her, along with another girl, invited him over to sit with them for lunch or something like that. And we didn't exactly, I mean, we knew it was the same guy from orientation, but I guess we didn't think much about it at the time. I don't recall, it's been a long time, but I remember my best friend Gabby telling me, "Oh my gosh, like this is the guy that we saw at orientation." And like we found him on social media, and obviously we at that point we were stalking on social media. But who doesn't do that nowadays? Who didn't do that back in high school? Everybody would do that.
I thought it wasn't being stalked.
Okay, on social media, that's different. Not in a weird way. We were just curious. We wanted to see who this person was and whatnot. And obviously, people would talk about him here and there. He'd be like, "Oh, that he's that new guy and the new guy this, the new guy that." So yeah, he just kind of like made his way into the group, but I hadn't met him officially yet. It wasn't until this ex friend of mine, who I guess had him for a class, and I really don't know how it came to her introducing us, but it just kind of did, which was so weird. I think it's destiny. I was about to say density.
Yeah.
I had to pause. I guess it was destiny. It was God. It was the universe. I don't know, but yeah, I remember we were in. I think it was one of the hallways downstairs by the cafeteria, where she introduced us, like, officially, oh, like, Chris, this is Karina, this is Chris, whatever. And, like, I really wish I could go back to that moment. That way I could relive it and remember it, like, 100%, but it's kind of a blur now.
Especially for the guys, I mean, like, as much as it's already bad enough that, I guess guys somewhat don't pay attention. We're kind of dumb enough. You're welcome, girls. But, with ADHD, it's kind of hard to really recall because you're kind of like, oh, like whatever, like whatever's going on, you're not, like I said, you're not paying attention too much. So that's kind of why I don't really recall everything so vividly as much as I would love to, which kind of sucks. So if anybody invents something to go back into your memories or something, hit us up.
For real, that'd be awesome.
That'd be great.
I'm sure it lives somewhere in my brain. But yeah, and then we just introduced each other and it just kind of went from there. And like every time we'd see each other in the hallway, we'd say hi to each other in like this obnoxious way. I don't know if he remembers, but we'd always be like, "Hi, Chris." Like we'd be like saying it so loud. I remember that part.
I do remember that.
I remember that. Like every time we see each other, like it'd be very much like, "Hi, Chris," but like really loud. But yeah, and then at that point, I don't remember if I knew that he was the guy from the orientation. I'm pretty sure. But I don't know. It was so weird. It was like that moment where you're like, you don't really think about it. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It's so weird because I feel like I would have remembered, oh my gosh, this is the guy from orientation that we were talking about. But he was kind of far away from us at the orientation. So maybe I couldn't tell that it was him when I met him up close. It wasn't until later on that I realized this, and this was like probably when him and I were already in a relationship, that I realized, oh my gosh, he was the guy from the orientation. It was so crazy. But that would be a later time. But yeah, so from there on out, like we just kept saying hi to each other, and then it just led to him meeting another ex-friend in the group, who eventually, led to us really like getting to know each other more. But in terms of us meeting, that was really like how we officially met, like at the hallway, literally officially like, hi, my name is. And then I would also start seeing him in our table in the mornings because he'd go sit with my best friend. And we would all sit in this one table upstairs every morning. And he started joining that group too, and not just during lunchtime. So then that's when he kind of integrated himself, and we're like, oh, so this is Chris. And that's when we started talking more too, kind of.
And see, this is why I wanted you to start, because you gave him the backstory of all the important details that I couldn't share.
Well, yeah, that part I do remember some of it for the most part. I really, like I said, I really wish I could remember that exact moment when you and I like actually met.
But I think part of the reason as to how far we've gotten, like up until now. So to give you a little bit of, I guess, what's going on this year is March 27th of 2025 is going to be our 9-year anniversary.
Yeah.
So that's just...
And we've known each other longer than that, because we met in, I think, like I said, in 2014. So we've known each other for almost, 10 years, 11 years this year.
And I'm going to have to give thanks to old Chris for even, like I said earlier, the only reason why I think we're together is because I said yes to being her dance partner.
But yeah, that's the part you can
for
share.
a Sweet 16. And the reason why that's such a big deal is because always throughout my life, I never really cared. I guess you can say, really antisocial. I was shy. I was an introvert. I didn't really want to be involved with like doing any sort of quinceañeras or be a part of any of that. And so, I was at my house one day, and then I received a text from the group of people who were, involved in the court for the Sweet 16, and then they asked me if I wanted to be her partner. And it didn't take more than 5 minutes to really decide, should I really do this or not? And so I'm like, I don't know what it was. Like, as Karina said, this is kind of like destiny or whatever, that everything's aligning, that I was just like, you know what? I don't know. I guess in my head, I was just like, I'm not doing anything with my life. Like, I don't know any people, so I'm going to just say yes and join the court. Like, I really was like, screw it. I'm going to just do it. Like, let's just see what happens kind of thing. So, that was really like the turning point as to really, I guess, marking where our story kind of began. If I hadn't said yes to being her dance partner, her and I would probably not be sitting together right now.
Probably not. Maybe.
Yeah, because I don't know. We wouldn't have really built that kind of connection during that time to, I guess, continue fighting on. But there's a lot more to it, behind the scenes. But that's generally the idea of how we met, and well, as I shared earlier, how long we've been together. So March 27th, 2025 will be 9 years that we are together. So.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. I'm trying to figure out the timeline of when. It's funny because you telling that part of the story of like you being on the other side receiving that message. I was literally there when you were being sent that message, which is so crazy. Like, you have that other side and I'm on the other side. So that's another, like, it's just crazy thinking about it, because I could still remember we were in one of my ex-friend's rooms at her house. We were sitting on the floor, and I remember, I don't know if it was her or the other ex-friend who sent the message, but I'm pretty sure it was the one that was my best friend at the time, who sent him a message, which at this point, I don't know if she knew him or not, or if they knew each other. I feel like they didn't, but I don't, like, there's parts in the timeline that I'm, like, not remembering. But yeah, like, just being there, being the one that was there to send the message was terrifying. I remember I was so scared. I'm like, no, don't tell him. Because, well, I remember them being like, okay, we'll ask him to be part of it, but we won't tell him your partner, like, you're going to be his partner or whatever. And I'm like, okay, fine. But then I think they did proceed with sending, oh, you'd be Karina's partner. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I was flipping out. Obviously, I was like, what are you doing? Oh my gosh. I was like so anxious. So feeling all over the place. And obviously because I had a crush on this guy, I didn't know him like that, but you're in high school. But yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy. Like, I get like flashbacks of that moment of being so nervous to send them that message, or to like being there while they're sending that message is crazy. And then, like, I guess we both we all three of us waited there till he responded, and I think that's when he said sure or something like that. I don't remember what he said. I wish I could look back on those messages. Like, you don't have your old phone anymore.
I guess something else too I can put into what we're talking about is others are probably thinking, well, what made you like want to say yes to being her partner? As much as I can recall, I mean, I just felt or knew like she was different. Since,
But did we know
the
each other already?
beginning. That's why we didn't really know each other as much.
Yeah, I'm like, was this
But-
before I met you or after I
I
met
don't
you?
know,
I'm
like,
pretty
there
sure it
was-
has to be
there
after,
was-
right?
I had to have something in me enough. Like it's just kind of instinctual too. You just kind of know, and it's just gonna work. I don't really know. It's kind of hard to explain. This is something like very beyond our human understanding. I
Yeah.
think that this is all like I don't know, just meant to be really.
Hmm.
And as I said, it's the reason why we're still here right now since high school. So it's kind of crazy. I mean, it doesn't really feel like we've been together for a long time. Like it just feels like
Like, I feel like for me, I feel it, but I don't at the same time.
Mhm.
Like, I don't when I'm living, like, the day-to-day life, you know, with you. But then, like, when I really sit down, like, right now and I talk about it and I think about it, I'm like, oh, my gosh, it's been a long time. Like, oh, my gosh, it's just crazy. Like, we're about to hit 10-year anniversary very soon in a year. And we're going to hit our 10-year high school in 2 years. That's crazy.
for sure.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll definitely do another podcast sometime around our 9-year anniversary, and we'll try to have something special for y'all to watch or listen to. But yeah, so that's the story as of now. These mics right here are not TikTok mics. So if you're wondering, oh, those are the TikTok mics. No, they're not. They're just some random mics from Amazon that we wanted to get something to be able to record. So if this audio sounds terrible and you hate it, feel free to send us some mics if you want, because right now we're trying to set my lady up over here for her little small business. So yeah, we're doing a lot. We're staying busy, and we're trying to achieve great things in life. So yeah, as of now, you're gonna be listening to us with these mics until further notice. But yeah, that'll be all. Until the next video, next podcast, we will talk to y'all later.
Thank you guys for listening to our love story of how we met. As you can see, very different. On both not very different, but different, like, I guess, perspectives on how we met. Like, seeing it on both sides is kind of crazy. But yeah, this is what we filled out. And if you want to get this book for you, for somebody else, for you and your partner, this is the book.
It's actually really interesting. So
It's
remember,
really cool.
at Five Below, not sure if it's sold anywhere else. If so, if on Amazon especially, we can link it down on the web, on the description for y'all.
But thank you guys for listening, and we hope to have you listen in on the next one.
We're definitely gonna try to post. We're not even try. We're pushing ourselves to post at least once a week, investing in ourselves to do that.
Yep. We were just out of town, so that's why we slacked it. But
That'll be the only times that we're not able to post once a week. But besides that, keep you updated on everything, and yeah, just stay safe out there.
love y'all.
It's the KC Podcast, and we out.
Bye.
Cut the camera, Loki.
Meow.
Do your job. The boom mic guy. The boom mic.
Sir. Oh my gosh, we gotta include that at the end. Ah!
We have a very special guest, Mr. Hughes. I'd like to share a few words.
Oh, this is too much.
And then
too
what?
much.
And then what happened?
I'm famous. What? Meow.
Okay, that's all he has to say.
Okay.